Hey up everyone. Amidst all the fanfare and a big pile of new models at EICMA, there is another story still emerging about KTM and the seemingly doomed Pierer Mobility Group. The story is constantly evolving, but you asked me what the latest was and it's not good. I've been trying to piece together the news around the KTM group, and each day brings a new revelation, it seems. From court cases shrouded in mystery to accusations of insider trading and the blocking of a Bajaj Group rescue package, with Red Bull being called in to bolster the finances. The news is not good at all from KTM. So, where to start? Before this month had even begun, there had been over 300 job losses in Austria this year, and the financial death spiral had continued until shares were at an all-time low of just €4 per share. We got the news that KTM was seeking in the 3-digit millions of euros in financing, and were reducing inventories even further, and reducing the number of bikes built to clear the dealer stock. Prices on bikes at dealers were at ridiculous discounts to try and clear stock, and dealers were on their knees. Then we heard that Bajaj might not be allowed to increase its shares. Speculation is that Mataschitz joined the Upper Austrian fire equipment supplier Rosenbauer, together with Pierer Industries, to retain a 50.1% shareholding, which led to speculation that the Rohbau consortium headed by Mataschitz could put together a rescue package. I will put a link to the article in the description, but you can see some in the slides. If you haven't already subscribed and you enjoy the video, hitting the like button and clicking to subscribe costs nothing and helps the channel a lot. It means, in theory at least, that you get to find out first when our latest videos are released each week. Do remember to check back though, YouTube isn't always the kindest to us. The channel's often hidden and people have even been unsubscribed. Sometimes even my replies get blocked too, but I do try and reply to everyone in time. I link other interesting videos made by real bikers on the community tab in the main channel page too, so it's always worth keeping an eye out there. I will leave you with some footage of Mason Klein riding a KTM in happier times for much of the video, as I'm sure you've got little interest in watching boardroom antics. If you haven't already seen it, you can find a candid interview with him from earlier in the year, and I will link it in the description. Anyway, it was announced by Pierer Mobility that a decline in revenue across all brands of the KTM AG group and the segments they operate in saw the Pierer Mobility Group's share price fall by 27% just in the first half of the 2024 financial year. This amounted to an operating loss of just under €200 million at the time, so that figure could easily have doubled by now. At this point, another 300 staff were laid off, and there is a major board restructuring, leaving Stefan Pierer in sole control of the board with his closest ally. Then, KTM made a statement to the financial markets, indicating that the forecast rebound had not happened. The statement read, "The difficult macroeconomic conditions are lasting longer than we expected. The second half of the year at Pierer Mobility is generally characterised by a high-margin product mix, especially in the off-road segment. However, the available registration data for the overall motorcycle market in the USA shows a decline of 6.3% from January to September in 2024, with September's decline up to a massive 14.5%, meaning that a rapid recovery can't be expected. Further destocking remains an important objective. However, Pierer Mobility remains clearly committed to supporting dealers and suppliers as a strategic partner in these difficult times. The balance sheet restructuring will be completed in 2024. This will involve an additional extraordinary impairment requirement that is higher than originally assumed. The reduction of the cost structure in the core business will result in a reduction in the headcount and the consolidation of all R&D activities for the group's brands. As a result of these circumstances, Pierer Mobility will fall short of expectations in terms of revenue and earnings, as well as with regard to the reduction in working capital and net debt in the current financial year, is revoking its guidelines for the 2024 financial year. In the course of the reorientation of Pierer Mobility, the executive board of the listed holdings company will be reduced from 6 to 2 members, Stefan Pierer, the CEO, and Gottfried Neumeister as co-CEO. Stefan Pierer was clinging on to his last grip of power in the company, and he was holding on, facing a grim death. Then we began to get a wider picture and heard that Pierer Mobility AG were seeking a standstill agreement and bridged financing agreement for the whole KTM AG group. So KTM, Husky, GasGas and MV Agusta. Then, on November the 12th, Pierer Mobility AG issued another update to financial markets that the company was working to secure financing in the 3-digit million euro range, and that the executive board was in discussions with core shareholders Pierer Bajaj AG and existing financial creditors for a standstill agreement for the duration of these decisions. This corporate gobbledygook was their way of saying we are broke, badly broke, and this was the basis for the financial restructuring. So either Pierer Mobility Group have been rebranded, or a new company, Pierer Bajaj AG, has been set up within the existing corporate web. To hide what, you might ask? All this at a time when there is a court case happening that I am simply not able to tell you about. There is a gagging order in place while the case is heard, and I am in no doubt that there will be a non-disclosure agreement when it's done. But it is happening, and KTM have already been found to have lied directly to the judge. Sadly, for now, that is all I can say. In his fight for survival amid massive cash crunch and brutal job cuts, Stefan Pierer announced that KTM are in urgent need of upwards of a staggering 9-figure sum to prevent the collapse of the entire company. As a major part of the Pierer Mobility Group, KTM faces an economic nightmare with swift and aggressive restructuring measures as it tries to tackle the drop in demand across key markets in the United States and Europe. In another statement, it was revealed that KTM was scrambling to secure financing, negotiating with shareholders and creditors to shore up its cash flow and stabilise operations. And KTM's parent company, Pierer Mobility, is still relying on the bikes for 95% of its annual revenue. In short, the cash KTM needs isn't just a buffer, it's a lifeline for the brand's continued existence. KTM's remedy? An even more painful restructuring plan. With a ballooning inventory clogging up dealerships and sales falling off a cliff, KTM have slashed production, aiming to align production costs and sales in an effort to balance the books. KTM began the year by cutting over 300 jobs, but the layoffs didn't stop there. August brought more grim news with an additional 200 employees giving their notice, yet these cuts are just the tip of the iceberg as another 300 layoffs are to follow. That will push KTM's total job losses to a staggering 800 people thrown out in the trash in this year alone. They call this restructuring, but it's a reshaping of KTM's production model at its core. The company's Austrian factory will work on a single shift operation, directly impacting roughly 1,000 production line workers, and the misery continues. Because KTM then announced a complete production pause for January and February 2025 as part of a move to cut its inventory to a more manageable level. So, we have a complete stop of production in Austria for at least January and February. Employees caught in this production freeze will retain a paycheck, sort of, but only after they agreed to a reduced 30-hour working week in an agreement hammered out between KTM and workers' representatives. CEO Stefan Pierer said it was a necessary pause to control KTM's overloaded inventory. He went on to say that these drastic steps will help KTM's inventory levels sync up with realistic market demand, which has nosedived from expectations. Then we got piles of corporate waffle, but then the latest news gets even more interesting. To prevent Bajaj from getting more shares, it was announced that KTM is now working with Red Bull in order to get more cash, and that talks have been underway for a week now. The e-bike catastrophe was a huge money-burning project, and they are now giving away e-bikes for free to the employees and friends because the costs of storage are so huge that they worked out it was cheaper to just give the bikes away free to the employees. After we got the message that Red Bull could step in, the stock prices went up by 15%. The whole day, the stock was on a massive buy, with only one big sell at the end of the day, so someone made a lot of money. It does all point to insider trading and market manipulation. In what seems like the dying throes of a wounded animal, now we get another announcement. All KTM approved reporting in the magazines. You can see the infighting in the slides. One ex-KTM board member says, "We, KTM, are destroying the brand ourselves." Another says he won't let his life's work be destroyed. So, we have war with shareholders, a possible rescue package from Bajaj on the table, but a desperate Stefan Pierer trying to use Red Bull cash or anyone else's to stay in the position of control, while the dying pieces of the once great KTM empire crumble into ruins beneath him. I have no doubt that KTM's name will survive in some form, but in what form, that is anyone's guess right now. Both Red Bull and Bajaj Group have much to lose, so it's likely that they will be part of the solution. But in my humble opinion, until Stefan Pierer goes, there will be a cloud over the company which has lost the trust of its core customers. What that means for Husqvarna, Gas and MV Agusta is anyone's guess right now. What do you think the future holds for KTM and the Pierer Mobility Group? Thanks for watching, and as always I look forward to hearing your comments. I hope you've enjoyed the video and can take the time to look around the channel to watch some of the others you'll find there. If you got this far and haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing helps us a lot and will mean you get to find out first when our regular updates, news, views and other videos go out. Please share the video with anyone you think will be interested too if you could. It all helps kick the YouTube algorithm into gear and gets the channel out there to new potential viewers. As it's the festive time of year, you can find plenty of biker related gifts on the website or on the Redbubble shop too, linked in the description. We have the best biker t-shirts, phone cases, stickers, wall art, neck tubes and other merchandise shipped worldwide, so it's worth a look and helps keep the channel truly independent. There are more exciting motorcycle adventures and other stories from the shed and beyond on the website, so why not grab yourself a cuppa and take a look around. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching. I hope you get some great riding in, and remember, keep your spanners close and your keys even closer. Ride free, everyone.